The simple answer is, a few years ago when we were doing our A Time to Build campaign and developing new offices here, headquarters, and new warehouse space to facilitate our growth, we identified about 12 countries here in Latin America that we felt God had laid on our hearts, that were strong possibilities for us to expand and do ministry in the future. And we started in Nicaragua, and then because of political instability there, we had to pivot, and we launched into Honduras. And we've got 10 or 11 on the list of where we feel God is calling us. So how do we choose where to go next? Well, a lot of that is Holy Spirit driven, doing a lot of prayer, asking the Holy Spirit to direct us. And He usually directs us in one of two ways. He'll either direct us to one specific country where we will go and we'll try to do a scouting trip and visit 2 or 3 or 4 different ministries that already exist there that can help us out in that learning curve of that country. Or we'll go to 3 or 4 different countries and visit ministries there, and then we have to come back and go, okay, which ministry or which country do we feel God is leading us to? And so doing that is about identifying ministry partners. And sometimes that's just done by having 50 years experience working in Latin America. Sometimes it's different missionaries on our staff have connections with different missions organizations or ministries in other countries. Sometimes it's contacting our body of teams that we already have and saying, hey, we're looking at this other country. Do you have any potential ministry partners there? And so that's how we start the process. Then we go and we visit them. One of the things that we're looking for is, will our model really work in that country? Is it going to be receptive? That idea of using the gift of a free home to represent God's free gift of grace. And so we want to meet with local pastors on those initial scouting trips, just to judge their temperature, to see what they think. Could they really get behind this idea of using the building of a house as a tool for them in their evangelistic efforts? And so when that happens, then we come back from those trips and we go through that discernment. We go through breaking it down. We go through trying to go through everything we went through and seeking the Lord's wisdom. And honestly, just being real honest with the Holy Spirit and saying, okay, you have to make this real obvious for us. Once that's done, then it's about a 3-year process before we actually get our first teams on the ground there. We need to get different vendors in place. We need to get different missionaries to move to those countries, to start relationships and to start the preparations to be able to host and to house teams. So that's a little bit of how we pick where we are and how we pick where we want to be in the future. So the number one thing I could ask you is to join us in prayer for discernment on where the Holy Spirit is leading us next.